And I remember when I went to Vipassana, 10-day silence retreat. So you go up into the Blue Mountains and you literally are silent for 10 days. You have no technology, you have no physical contact with anyone. You're literally just a monk practically meditating about 7 hours a day. And you're eating completely vegetarian foods. And you're just secluded and you're with nature. At the crack of dawn, you're meditating. And so while I was there, it was, through meditating, they tell you to just observe. You're not allowed to have any images, no words, no nothing. You're just observing your body as you're meditating. I couldn't help but keep seeing visions. And I was like, oh, come on, go back to, meditating. So at the end of the 10 days, when we were allowed to talk, I had so much coming through and I was like, okay, give me a notepad and pen. And I just started writing. I just started writing pages and pages of everything that I wanted to do. And partially what was this, which was a holistic approach to health, which has been something along my journey that I have found to work for me. And so just to tell you a bit about myself, as a teenager, I was told by the doctors that I had depression. I had polycystic ovary syndrome, and I had to go on medication for it. So when I heard that I had to go on medication for it, my instinct was like, nah, I can't go on medication, no way. My mum's always been into natural health, it's taken me to a dietitian, a naturopath, and that's what we did. We went to a naturopath, a herbalist, trying to find out how I could heal myself without medication. So I would go on these natural remedies and I would find that it would work. So I started dropping weight, but for some reason my symptoms still kept coming back. They were still there. I still had acne. I still felt really down and depressed. I felt like life was really hard. It was hard to get up in the morning. It was hard for me to be motivated. It was like, everyone was just telling me, come on, just get up, get up, get out of bed. And be like, well, no, I don't want to get up out of bed. I feel sad. So as I was going along and trying to figure out, how I could heal myself, all along, I was dieting, I was exercising, and I would lose a few kilos and then I would put it back on. It wasn't until I got into a relationship and I fell in love with this amazing guy, top guy, and we literally were inseparable. And I can't thank him enough for the time I spent with him. He taught me a lot. He got me questioning about my beliefs. He was a Christian, so he was very passionate in his religion, very dedicated. And at that time, I didn't really know much about my religion. I was, brought up as a Catholic, but I never went to church. To be quite frank, I would fall asleep. And so I started soul searching. I went to priests. I asked them, about the Bible and how come, the Sabbath is on a Sunday when in the Old Testament it was a Saturday, and it just didn't feel right to me. Something just wasn't right. And all the while I was just talking to different people. I spoke to, Jehovah's Witness as well. And then all of a sudden my auntie kept telling me, come and do these courses in theta healing. I'm like, nah, not interested. She's like, okay. So anyways, my relationship came to an end. We broke up. And then I was like, okay, why not figure out, try out this theta healing course. So I went and did the 3-day basic course. And while I was there, for the first time in my life, I can honestly say that I felt happy. Everything I was questioning about life, around my beliefs, just came to me. Everything just made sense. So in that course, I learned about how our beliefs created our reality. So when it came to my health, my physical, my relationships, especially in my relationships. It was all what was going on up here, and especially had to do with my own self-belief. So I went on to do the courses. I did a 3-week course called Intuitive Anatomy, which was literally going in each system of the body and clearing limiting beliefs and negative emotions. I was blown away at how many emotions and beliefs were stored in each system of the body. After that course, I went on to release over 20 kilos. I no longer experienced depression. I went back to my doctor this year to speak to her about the polycystic ovaries. I knew I didn't have it, but everyone kept asking me, go back and check, just go back. I'm like, okay, I'll go back. So I went back, and the doctor said, I'm happy to say that you're cured. She was the same doctor that said it was incurable and I was going to have it for the rest of my life. So Theta Healing was something that literally summed everything up for me. All the while I was eating right, I was eating healthy, I was dieting. But Theta Healing was something that was a missing piece for me. So what is Theta Healing? That was me before. So Theta Healing is a meditation training technique that uses the involvement of mind, body and soul. So it's about releasing limiting beliefs. So what's going on up here? And how we do that is by being connected to that divine energy of creation. So that energy of creation can be anything for you. It can be God, it can be the universe, it can be Buddha, whatever it is. It's just connecting to that higher energy that creates everything. So, with my story, I cleared all these negative feelings about myself. I had so much self-hatred. I kept feeling like there was something wrong with me. Why is it that all my friends are so beautiful, so skinny, and how come I'm so overweight? How come I can't get rid of it? Those were the thoughts that would go through my head. And so I kept creating that for myself. So with Theta Healing, I learned to love and accept myself as I am. And that's when the weight just released. So the power of your mind. So 95% of your mind is subconscious. So in your subconscious mind, you have belief systems that you have learned from the moment of conception up until now. So this could be beliefs from your parents, your teachers, your peers, society, your environment, what you're taking in. So you know how as a child they'll say that they're like a sponge, they just absorb all their information. I remember I was just recently, one of my friends, his daughters, she comes up to me and she starts telling me some stuff. And I started laughing. I told her mum, I go, hey, did you know that, she said this? And she's like, what? Where did she get that from? No, there's no way she could have. I didn't say that around her. I didn't say that to her. But kids are so smart. They're always listening to what you're saying and they pick it up. So your conscious mind is operating at 5%. So in order for you to make a change, right, you have to do it through your consciousness, which is operating at 5%. So you have to be consciously aware to make that change. Whereas 95% is subconscious. So you're just like an autopilot. So when you open up the newspaper and your mind is completely directed to a certain part of it, your whole mind has already read everything. It's your conscious part, which is operating at 5%, that is playing catch-ups. So you're automatically drawn to a certain part of that newspaper. Because based on your belief systems, you know what you like. That's how smart your mind is. So with belief systems, yes, they control our thoughts, our actions, and how we view our world. So every thought we are thinking is creating our future. The different levels of belief, we have 4. So the first one is at a core level, which is the prefrontal cortex, which is the first part of your brain, where the red part is. And that is formed from the moment of conception up until the age of 7. So in your mother's womb, when she was going, whatever she was going through during that pregnancy, you could have been taking on her feelings, her beliefs. If she went through financial hardship or felt emotionally unsupported, you could have taken that on energetically. The second level is the DNA level. So this is where you'll hear, oh, you know, we've got diabetes in the family, you can't eat that. Or be careful, you know, your grandmother had breast cancer. So your beliefs are also being operated at a genetic level. The third level is a history level. So this is where past lives come into play. So whatever you may have experienced in another life, you could still be learning that lesson during this lifetime. I remember when I went overseas to America last year, and it was the first time I went to Idaho, and it felt like home to me. I felt like I'd been there before. It felt so real, and I felt so comfortable, like I'd been there before. And when I come to meet people, especially over there, when I was doing my training, I met people over there that I felt like they were part of my soul family. Like I've known them for lifetimes. You know when you just meet people and you have that sudden connection, like you've known them forever? And there's some people where you're like, I don't know, like there's no connection there. My best friend Rose, we've been best friends since like 14 years. And I remember the first time meeting her, like, you know when you just know you're going to be friends with someone forever? That's how it felt with Rose when I met her. So there could be people in your life where you feel that energetic succeeds and then fails. So there's a duality going on for her. So how do we change it, these belief systems? Our mind goes through different brain waves. The first one is a delta wave, which operates at 0 to 4 cycles per second. And this is where you are in a deep, unconscious state. It's when you're in deep sleep. The second level is theta waves. And this is operating at 4 to 8 cycles per second. And this is when you're in that intuitive, creative state. It's when you're visualizing. So if I tell you to visualize a holiday while you're here, what do you see? Do you see palm trees? Do you see beaches? Do you see Rome or Europe? Even though you're here, you can picture it. So your mind is going through a theta state. So when you came here tonight and you were parking your car, did you think about where you were going to park? Did you see the parking spot out the front? Or when you got here, you were struggling to find a parking spot? So forever, you're always in that, you're always visualizing when you're thinking about somewhere that's not here. So your mind is going through a theta state. The next one is an alpha. So this is where you are going through, when you go to get a reading done, you see a psychic. They usually operate in an alpha state. And it's usually a bit deeper, in a dreamy state. So you know when you're awake, when you're waking up from sleep and you're sort of like a bit hazy, you're not fully conscious, but you're sort of awake. So your mind is through an alpha state. The next one is beta. And this is where you're interacting, you're conscious, you're aware. So you're here in the present, you're talking with people, you're interactive. The next one is gamma. And I know it says here 30 to 100 cycles, but it goes up to 1,000 cycles per second. And this is where like time completely slows down. So if you've ever seen an accident, a car accident, or a glass falling off the table and it goes in complete slow motion, your mind is going through a gamma state. So I had an experience when I learned about these different brainwaves. I didn't know before then about gamma. I could never relate to it. But it wasn't until after I learned about it and I was driving along and I came to a set of traffic lights and I was turning right and the light was red to go right but it went green to go straight. My mind just saw the green light and it turned right. And all of a sudden, like these cars were moving to come. But all of a sudden it was like they stopped and time stood still and I just went through. And I was driving and I was like, wow. It was mind-blowing. I couldn't believe it. It was incredible. It's like when you see it in movies where time slows down. It's exactly what happened. And I knew in that moment that my mind went through a gamma state. So we're going in and out of these brainwaves. We don't need to be in a deep sleep to experience a delta wave. Or we don't need to be in a meditative state to experience theta. Our mind is constantly going through these brainwaves. So in a theta brainwave, that is where we're able to discreate and recreate a new reality. So whether that be to change our beliefs or to manifest what we want in our life, what we're doing is we're entering that theta state to change that, to create what we do want in our life. So what we're going to do now is we're going to do some muscle testing. So how do we know what beliefs we have? Could I have a volunteer, please? Awesome. Alicia, do you want to come up? I love it. Okay. So do you want to stand here and then stay stand? Okay. So how we do muscle testing is through something called applied kinesiology. So this is where we're able to muscle test our beliefs, and they use applied kinesiology to source, different emotions in the body. But what we're going to do is try and test our subconscious mind. Not try, we're going to test our subconscious mind. So we have an energetic field that operates around 5 meters radius. So what we do before we muscle test is we zip our energy up. So all you can do is go like that, or you can just visualize it in your mind like your meridians being zipped up through a zipper. So if you want to close your eyes and then just visualize yourself and go like that. Awesome, you're a natural. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is when I say yes, my body falls forward. When I say no, my body goes back. So all you're doing is you're going to close your eyes and say yes, and then just see which way your body goes. Okay? And then close your eyes and say no. Okay, so now say definitely. So now close your eyes and say, my name is Bob. So keep your eyes closed. And then just say, my name is Bob, and see which way your body falls. Okay. So close your eyes and say yes. Okay, close your eyes and say no. So we did a swapperoo. Okay, so close your eyes again and say my name is Bob. Okay, close your eyes and say my name is Kalichi. Awesome! So I'll get everyone to stand up and we're all going to do it together. Okay, so just zip your energy up. Awesome. And close your eyes and say yes.
Yes.
Now say no.
No.
Now say my name is Bob.
My name is Bob.
Now say my name is and your name.
My name is Rose.
If you didn't get an accurate answer, just have some water. So you have to keep hydrated. But was everyone good for that?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay, awesome. So, first belief we're going to test is I have a healthy mind and healthy body. So when we're muscle testing, we're closing our eyes so we're accessing our subconscious. And when we say it out loud, we're affirming what we're testing. So I have a healthy mind and healthy body.
I have a healthy mind and healthy body.
So just mark down what you got. We're going to be drinking all these coconuts. If anyone wants an extra coconut, go for it. I'm going to grab another one. Do you want one? Yeah? Yeah. Does anyone want one? Thank you. Yeah? Yeah.
I think I've had coconut water before coming to Australia and now I'm slightly infected.
Yeah. Coconut? Yeah. Nice and refreshing. Tony, would you like another coconut? Are you sure?
Yeah.
Do you want one? You got one? Okay. Thank you. Do you want one? Okay. I need to lose weight.
I need to lose weight. Damn it, I need to lose weight.
Yes.
On every level, I am healthy.
On every level, I am healthy.
Huh? You can't cheat. I love myself.
I love myself.
I eat the right foods for my body.
I eat the right foods for my body.
Yeah.
What if you get a sideways?
Jewel.
I just said it.
It's a jewel. It's a. It's a dual belief. So yes on one level, no on another.
And you know what? That's true.
So, how do we change the belief systems? The most important key ingredient is to have that high belief. So, theta healing for me was a technique that gave me the ability to connect with that energy. So I was born a Christian. I'm still a Christian. The theta healing just allowed me, and it was that missing puzzle to my belief systems. It made me understand what life was about. So as a Christian, you know, they will talk about heaven and hell and how, you know, when you die, you'll be judged and all this stuff. Theta healing for me was about, if I believe I'm going to be judged, I'll be judged. If I believe I'm going to go to hell, I'll go to hell. Cancel that. I'm not going to hell. So theta healing is a technique that empowered me to connect and to create my life. So that's what I do. I use it to build my life. So in order to change your beliefs, it's about having that key ingredient for you. And what that energy is, it's unconditional love. Unconditional love heals everything. I heard something so profound just the other day. I was listening to Wayne Dyer's podcast, and he just passed away recently. And he believed in every single cell in his body he did not have leukemia. He was diagnosed with having it, but he knew he didn't have it. So when it came up for him, So St. John of God is somebody, he's a healer, he's from Brazil, and they performed healing on Wayne Dyer when, you know, completely different countries. And when he said, he was talking about his experience, he said, they didn't heal me. What they did was release the fear and replaced it with love. And I found that so profound, because with every illness, with every health issue, physical, there's a fear element to it. When it comes down to the absolute bottom of it, there's fear around it. When you hear cancer, does it make you think of fear, like, you know, you're going to die? People, when they're diagnosed with cancer, they automatically think that they're dying. So their family will come around and say goodbye to them. But then there will be other people who will be like, you know what? I know I can heal myself. What do I need to do to change this? And they go on this journey of self-discovery, and they look at natural remedies. And there are so many stories, like thousands of stories. I remember I went to John Gabriel's health retreat, and he had some amazing people who came up on the stage. And one of them in particular had healed herself from cancer. And the way she did it was through detoxing and drinking juices, fresh juice, which was amazing. It was the only thing she changed in her life. So I believe our body has the ability to heal, whatever it is. If we can get over sickness, like the flu, who's to say we can't heal other parts of our life? All you need is unconditional love. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to talk you through a meditation, and it's the theta healing technique. And I'm going to talk you up with connecting to that higher plane of unconditional love. And we're going to change these beliefs that came up for you and just download some new beliefs that will serve you for your best and highest. So just get comfortable and close your eyes. And take a deep breath in. And take a deep breath out. Visualize a ball of energy coming up through the soles of your feet, coming up through your legs, coming up and aligning all your chakras. As it's coming up at the top of your crown, picture yourself in this ball of energy. And take notice to see what color it is. As you see yourself in that ball of energy, shooting up, past the sky, past the clouds, past the universe, going through a bright light, then into another bright light, then into another bright light. In fact, there are many bright lights. Keep going until you get to a bright light, as bright as the sun, but it doesn't hurt your eyes when you look at it. Go through it. And as you go through it, up ahead, you'll see a jelly, watery-like substance. Go through the jelly as if you're swimming through it. And feel your energy dissolve all around you. You may see different colors of the rainbow, different shapes and sizes. Then up ahead, you'll see a bright pearlescent light shining. Head for that light and feel your body one with that energy. Feel that energy coming into every single cell in your body, becoming one with all that is. So when I say I know what it feels like to have a healthy mind and healthy body, if you would like that change, you say yes to yourself in your mind. If there is a change you do not want, just say no to yourself in your mind. I know what it feels like to have a healthy mind and healthy body. On every level of my being, I feel healthy. I know what it feels like to love myself. I know how to love myself. I know what it feels like to make healthy choices. I know how to make healthy choices. I know how to eat the right foods that feel right for my body. I know how to identify the right foods that my body is lacking. I know what it feels like to be worthy. I am worthy on every single level. I am worthy of receiving love. I know how to live without feeling like it's difficult to heal. My body heals with grace and ease. I know how to heal with grace and ease. I believe I can heal every area of my life. I know it's possible to heal. On every level, I am lovable. I know what it feels like to love myself. I know how to live without feeling like it's hard to lose weight. I know how to release weight with grace and ease. I know how to make the right choices to help me release weight. So now take your awareness up into that pearlescent light and see that energy coming through every single cell in your body, filling you up with pure unconditional love. Healing anything else that is ready to be healed. Then when you're ready, take a deep breath in and open your eyes. So if there were beliefs that didn't change, it's just because there's more beliefs that are tied in that. So there's more stuff. So when you connect to that energy, if you're ready to heal, whatever it is that's going on for you, you'll just heal. So I had a client who she'd been on, I've had a few actually, but this one in particular, she was diagnosed with having depression and she had it for over 20 years on medication. And within the first session, we did, a bit of belief work, changing some beliefs and sending unconditional love, did that whole process. At the end of it, she went to her GP and her GP just said, whatever it is, keep doing it. Keep doing it, it's working for you. She hasn't been on medication ever since. So that was just her missing piece. She was eating healthy, she exercised, she was doing all of that. But by changing beliefs, she no longer had to. She no longer experiences depression. So, what this is about, what we're doing, a group of us, is having this Shift Your Weight 8-week challenge, which I'm so excited about, because it's a holistic approach to health. I would look, ever since I was going to the gyms, I remember signing up to a gym, and I would just be so unmotivated. I'd get on the treadmill, and I'd be like, okay, I'd walk for like an hour, walking on the treadmill. Put the incline up, incline down, all of that. And it killed time for me, but I wasn't motivated, And so when I started to incorporate the mind, the health, and the body, everything just started working for me. So after I had dropped my weight, I released my weight, I signed up to Gold's Gym, which was down the road, no longer exists. And while I was there, I met this amazing personal trainer named Lance. And while I was there, I also met Jennifer, who's a naturopath in Parramatta, and is here tonight. And when I was going through, my training and stuff, and trying to burn off weight and trying to burn off fat, Lance helped me increase the process of that. He would give me these, little tips and hints and workouts and how to decrease fat in a short amount of time. And I found my energy was depleted. So Jennifer was at the gym and she was handing out, free body composition scales, the tests. So I was like, okay, I'll go check it out. So I went and saw her. I told her everything that was going on in my life, and she was like, okay, this is what you need, this is what you're lacking. So she gave me supplements to help with what was going on with my body, because the food I was eating, I wasn't getting the benefits from it. So when you look at the processed foods, and how they're grown as well, how many chemicals that go into it, they strip away so much nutrition from it that really you're eating like cardboard, you know? There isn't that much benefit to it. So when I got the supplements, my energy increased. I was able to do more. I was like training twice a day. It was ridiculous. But I loved it. I was in the flow of it, you know. I was doing Bikram yoga, I was going to the gym, and you know, it got to a point where it became too much. And I realized that I had to cut back a bit, you know, because my health was like operating at like top notch, but I needed to focus on my other areas. So I started pulling back a bit, and now like I cut my training down and I'm in a healthy place. I've learned how to have balance with it. So in this program, what it is to incorporate the training, and to incorporate the nutrition and the mindset, and also especially incorporating the outer body. So firstly, I want to talk about Lance. So Lance wasn't able to make it tonight because he's had this amazing opportunity come up where he's doing this TV show, which is really cool. So he's put this concept together called V30. And what it is training sessions in 30 minutes. I used to think I had to go to the gym for like an hour and a half to do my training, you know, but I wouldn't get the results. It wasn't until like he put this whole concept together when I would go and see him for one-on-one sessions to knock my training in half an hour. So instead of dragging it on, he condensed it, and I was getting the results, which was fantastic. So he wants everybody to come along this Saturday. He's doing a training session at PCYC, which is in Parramatta. I'll give you some of the details, and he's training for free. So he wants you guys to come down, check it out, and see how you go with it. And he's going to give a talk afterwards about how important it is when it comes to mind and body connection, and how you need to be working those parts together when it comes to your health. So whether it be weight loss, whether it be to just live a healthy lifestyle, whatever your goals are, to tone up, whatever it is, you have to have that 3-part approach to it. Now, my best friend, Rose, she has been such an important part on my journey. I remember when I came to this journey of self-love, and it was my birthday and we went out shopping, you know, and I felt so self-conscious for years around what I used to wear. I never felt comfortable. And we went shopping for my birthday, and this was after I did the theta healing courses, you know, and I released some weight as well. And we went to this shop, and I was looking, and she pulls out this black dress, and she goes, "Here, you need to try this on." And I looked at it, and I was petrified. I'm like, no. It was going to show every single curve of my body, and it scared me to bits. But I was like, okay. She convinced me. She goes, "Come on, babe, just do it. Just put it on, you know, you never know, to see what you look like." I'm like, okay. I put it on, and I was standing there in the mirror, and she comes behind me with this massive smile, and I started tearing up, and she goes, "Look how beautiful you look." And that was the first time I really felt that.
Aww, babe.
So, because for me it was like I changed so much on the inside that the outer part was what all was left. Was that I could wear things that I felt comfortable in. Makes me happy. So I'm going to get Rose to come up and give a talk about how she's going to be included in this, and about how she's going to help those complete that inner body, outer body transformation.
I've written it all down. I can't remember everything off the top of my head. So my name is Rose. Nice to meet you, everyone. I specialise in all things hair, makeup and beauty. When I was creating the name of my business, I had to find something to encapsulate what I was all about. It wasn't just about hair, makeup, or brows individually. It was about the harmonization of all three, about how all three work together to create the whole, to match the person's look, to match a person's identity. But my story goes deeper than that. Image doesn't just represent what's on the outside. Image is also the total person, what they do and who they are. My story starts more than 15 years ago, not long after starting high school, in a place where I definitely felt like the odd one out. The first time I remember being severely concerned about my weight was when I was around 15 years old. I was with my mum in a little shop in the country, and I was trying on clothes. I had selected the biggest size top in the store. I think it was a size 16. It was like bigger when I was younger, and I literally could not get it on. I remember completely breaking down in the change room, completely inconsolable. And in that moment, my mum made a pact with me. She said, when we get home, we're going to go on a strict diet and join the gym together. Thank God my mum was motivated, because I certainly wasn't. She had me getting up before 6 a.m. every morning before school, having a super healthy breakfast with all these weird seeds and things that I had no idea what they did, that gave me fiber and some sort of nutrition. Then she'd whisk me off to the gym and we would run on the treadmill together, or swim, or do the cross trainer. And over time, to a degree, it worked. I remember the school holidays passed, and as part of my great transformation, I decided to drastically colour my hair to a ball colours, black. And when I started school again, I was like a completely different person. It was around this time that I also discovered the wonderful joys of makeup. I had a few items of makeup and began to realise how transformative it could be. That, and also the enjoyment I got artistically out of creating amazing looks and colours with the product. I decided then that I would pursue a career in hair and makeup artistry. But somewhere along this line, I really began to lose myself. I had generated such an insecurity around being accepted that I lost myself completely in the process. When I started school, I didn't know anyone. I didn't know how to fit in. And I spent almost a year and a half drifting between groups of people I didn't mesh with, and many, many lunchtimes alone in the library. Eventually, I made a circle of friends. In fact, I would go between heaps of groups of friends. I became a social butterfly, and it was around this time as well I forged my friendship with Nicole. But who was I? Not having any real sense of who I was after having that feeling of non-acceptance, I began to change and adapt my personality and attitude to one that other people would recognize, understand, and accept. People liked me, but I wasn't really me. I would always fall in love with guys, you know? I was a little bit boy crazy, but they never liked me back. Maybe it was because I was still a little bit tubby. Maybe it's because I wasn't as pretty as my group of friends. They were like the most flawless group of people you've ever seen. I was like, who are these people? So maybe it's also because I wasn't myself and they saw through this fake facade that I was projecting onto the world. So remember the days before mobile phones when everyone used to call each other on the house phone? I remember being on the phone to one of my guy friends and confessing my undying love about one of our mutual friends. We decided we would do a secret three-way phone call with him to gauge his feelings about me. So my friend calls him, quickly beats me in on the conversation, then casually starts talking about me. He asks him what he thought of me, and the guy promptly responded, "Oh, she's just a fat bitch." Ouch. Around 17 to 18, I had lost myself completely. I had left school and started my apprenticeship. I was having a cigarette and a Red Bull for breakfast every morning. I was going to raves every weekend and taking all kinds of drugs. Sorry, Mum. Rolling with the wrong crowd and forgetting my true friends. Nicole. I had the worst attitude problem. And during this time, I experienced some real personal tragedies through the deaths of some of my close friends and family. All of this combined with years of comparing myself to others and feeling inadequate, feeling unworthy and like I didn't fit in anywhere, led me to having severe depression, self-harm, and even a half-hearted attempt at suicide. Luckily, when it did reach that point, my family network stepped in. and took control. I was not happy. I went to a group program where I learned so much about the power of the mind, subconscious programming, and meditation. We did things like anger release therapy and finding our inner child. By about 20, I had left my apprenticeship. I was working 3 hours a day in a cafe near my house and was immersed in learning about meditation, positive thinking, and some aspects of spirituality. I suddenly had all this time on my hands. I would wake up early, go for a walk through nature, come home and meditate, and then have a super healthy breakfast. But I wasn't quite there yet. By night, I was rolling around with my friends, hanging out in parks and getting onto all kinds of mischief. This is where I began to learn about effective people, people who will propel you forward in life or people who will hold you back. You simply can't move forward in life if you are surrounding yourself every day with people who don't have positive goals for themselves, don't take care of themselves mentally and physically, or have a negative outlook on life. Eventually, through your own personal growth and learning, those people will automatically get removed from your life. Sometimes it won't be easy, other times they'll just vanish without a trace. This is how I began to understand what it meant when someone was on a different frequency. I allowed the universe to carry me. Positive people began to appear into my life, not by choice, but by chance. I got back into the hairdressing industry, and this time my reason for being back had changed. Instead of being in it for myself, I was in it with a specific desire to make a positive difference in the lives of other people. My new healthy lifestyle and healthy mental attitude had completely transformed me. I still remember the day when I was in Parramatta Westfields with Nikki and her auntie expressed her shock at how different I looked and how much I had changed. She said how beautiful I looked, but it was more than that. I had a glow, she said, that was shining out from within me. The glow is something that happens when we begin to accept ourselves and love ourselves. It's something that happens when we start living selflessly because we are whole enough within to do more for other people. It's something that radiates because we are thinking positive thoughts. As Roald Dahl once said, think positive thoughts and they will shine from your face like sunbeams. Accept the things you can't change about yourself and change what you can only if you really need to. I remember when I first started working at Tony and Guy Hairdressing, one of the salons I started working at when I got back into the industry. During my training, I practiced on a woman who every time she looked in the mirror, she started shaking uncontrollably. Being the probing type, I tenderly asked her if anything was wrong. She began to tell me the story of how when she was young, she was in a very intensive ballet school. She was so heavily scrutinized as a child that she developed the inability to even look at herself in the mirror. In fact, if she did, she suffered major anxiety attacks. Getting her hair cut and looking at herself in the mirror was part of her therapy to self-acceptance and moving forward with her life. I felt such a responsibility in that moment to care for this person who couldn't even look at herself in the mirror without panicking. I knew I had found my purpose. The amount of women I meet who can't stand looking at themselves in the mirror is astounding. When you look in the mirror, what do you see? What do you feel? If your first response here was a negative one, then it's time to change your mind. I know what it's like to look in the mirror and hate what you see. It was here that I learned about the power of affirmations. Completely reprogramming your mind to look for the good and the beauty within. At first it felt silly telling myself positive things about myself, like what we were doing before, when we were sitting there telling ourselves all these positive things. The first time I was doing that, I was like, this feels so ridiculous. But after a while, I actually started to realize how much they work. You're literally reprogramming your mind. So it went from that to literally I bought a deck of affirmation cards and I stuck them all around the house. So like on the fridge, in my mum's room, in the kitchen, next to the toilet, you name it, there was an affirmation card about something. This helps generate the power of your inner glow. During my part of this upcoming program, I'm not going to just talk about inner beauty, but I'm also going to give tips on outer beauty. How to enhance your natural image. I have so many tips and tricks on beauty that can help anyone feel good about themselves. Hair tips, makeup tips, and tricks on, fashion tips. I'll show you the mistakes we make that detract from our natural image, and I'll show you how to correct those as well. Once we combine and harmonize the inner with the outer, our whole life shifts. We will never truly be happy with ourselves, no matter how much weight we might lose. Trust me, I've been there. If we don't take care of our mind and our spirit too. When we do start to nourish these parts of ourselves, the glow switches on. People are drawn to you. People smile at you wherever you go.